Welcome back. Hopefully you got your wall, your emblem hung up on your wall hanging or garland and had a chance to finish coloring that Compassion Camp poster in. If you did, please, please, please send me a picture of it completed. I'd love to see what it turned out like. I love the idea that we've been coloring on it together throughout the last few weeks. Let's go ahead and dive right into our additional activities for today. The first one is the Jubilee puzzle. And so in your packet, you should have a handout like this. You can see it's just a puzzle. And you're going to be designing, coloring, and cutting it out, and then you can put it together. So the year of Jubilee helped the people of Israel rest, make things right, and prepare for the future. Using the puzzle template, draw and color a picture of what it looks like when things are given fresh starts and made right. So you might imagine people who have everything they need, a healthy environment, and children who are safe. What does a healthy world look like to you? And I will say at this point, everyone's puzzle should look a little bit different because you all have ideas about what would make our world a much better, healthier place. And so definitely put your perspective. What do you think a healthy world looks like? When you cut it apart to create a puzzle, think about how we make our world less restful or less just. So what are the things that we do that keep us from getting to that picture that you just drew and colored in? And then as you put the puzzle back together, think about the ways compassion inspires us to make things right again, and the steps you can take to help put the puzzle back together, to help our world reach the best place it can be, the most healthy environment it can be. What does it feel like to draw a joyful, restful, and just scene? What does it feel like to cut it apart? And how do you feel when you put it all back together? So after you've had a chance to complete the activity, definitely mull that over with everyone doing Compassion Camp with you today. Think about how it makes you feel. The next activity is the yoga sequence, so our movement activity. As in weeks before, I'm leaving this completely up to you because our breathing is a very personal thing. And so I don't want to dissuade you from using your own natural breath patterns. Remember, yoga or breath sequence connects our body to kind of our mind and our heart. It gets us all in alignment. Being present to ourselves and our own bodies helps us to be present to others. So breath itself is a powerful field to just kind of reconnect ourselves together. And so breathe through each of the movements as whatever feels right, works best for you, and enjoy. And that is our third activity. And I'm going to end with our Compassion in Action activity, and then we'll have one more video with our closing and our prayer. And then Compassion Camp will be done for the time being. So a little bittersweet. I've enjoyed sharing this time with you. So for our Compassion in Action activity, remember we do this because it reminds us how we can each be with each other. So in everything we do or say, God is with us, or we feel Emmanuel, God was with us. They're simple, tangible acts that express the deep, wide compassion of God. So it's taking, it's like with that puzzle, it's just taking small steps to make the world a little bit better place, to make the world a little more compassionate place. And so the first activity is really a family activity. And I love, like on our session handout on page 138, as a quote by Mother Teresa, which small acts, great love. So you can do small acts with great love, and it can really make a big impact on the world. And so that's what today is all about. There are many ways to understand and show compassion. We begin by seeing and welcome. We need to be brave and trust God. It also means caring for and loving ourselves so we can trust our voices. All this helps us to be present with each other along the way as we follow God's lead. When we cultivate all these seeds of compassion, we can become open to seeing the wideness and goodness of God's creation. We show compassion to the earth as a way of rejoicing in God's abundance. So there is enough to go around. Our Compassion in Action this week is going to help us connect us to the provision of the land. So there are a bunch of ideas listed on the handout, so feel free to look through them. I'll read them. But I just want to say at this point, make this activity your own. If you think of other things that you could do, awesome. I'd love to hear what they are, but there are so many different ways that we can rejoice in God's abundance and really kind of take better care of the planet. So some of the ideas: plant some seeds or native plants to your area and watch them grow. If you have a garden, you've already done this, and you can maybe just go outside and appreciate nature and the growth of the plants. You could go meat free for 3 days. Go try out vegetarianism for 3 days. Learn about water systems and what you can do to improve the water system as far as Should you leave the water running when you're brushing your teeth? And so maybe after you learn about water systems, you can make some small changes to help stop water overuse. Learn about composting and make a compost bin for your kitchen. Repurpose old clothing to make things new, like a reusable bag from old t-shirts. Learn about the ecosystem in your backyard or neighborhood. You can make a turn off the lights challenge to save energy. So there are a ton of different ways, things that you can do. So that is your compassionate action activity. Go ahead, sit down, talk about the different ideas, maybe think of some of your own, and then come up with a plan for how you can put this in action, how you can put this compassion in action. I will see you back for our final video once you're done, and we will close with some discussion and some prayer, and I'll see you then.